Well, that was terrible. What's up, guys? My name is Gabe, and welcome back to the Trojan Blade. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is the instant reaction to USC's horrible, and let me say it again, horrible 24-17 loss to Minnesota. I'm truly stunned. Did not see this coming. Before I go any further and get even more upset, just want to say shout out to Minnesota. They took us out in the deep end. They got us to play their game. Hell of a performance from you guys. And again, congrats on the win. But yeah, I'm just blown away. Don't even know what to say. Don't know where to start with this instant reaction. We know that this SC team has been prone to slow starts every game aside from Utah State. We've had them. And it bit us in the ass playing against Michigan, and it bit us in the ass again. When you play a mistake-filled first half like we did on the road in conference play, I said it last week, if there's one thing we've learned through Big Ten play, it's that there are no easy games in this conference, especially on the road. You can't have those horrible penalties. You can't have those big drops. You can't have miscue after miscue. And while we did have a lot of good moments in this game, those are all completely out the door now. Is there anything positive to take from this game? No, not really. This is a mediocre Minnesota team at best, and they just outcoached us, they outphysicaled us, and of course they came out with a win in the end. There were a lot of things out there on the field tonight that reminded me that we're not ready to be a Big Ten contender yet. I guess we have to talk about the tackle situation. On Twitter, I worded it as we are officially in DEFCON 1 with the tackles, and I think that's pretty much the best way to put it. Elijah Page and Mason Murphy, but especially Mason Murphy in this game, were absolutely terrible. Mason Murphy got smoked off the edge so many times. I saw it coming every single time. He was late out of his stance, absolutely no power in his hands. Technique was all over the place. Confidence was completely shot. Why Lincoln didn't have Cade Eldridge or someone over there at all times to help him, I don't know. Why Tobias Raymond didn't come in for him, I don't know either. Elijah Page had a brutal first half. He had some mistakes in the second half as well, but I thought overall he bounced back a lot better than Mason did. That second half from Mason Murphy is one of the worst halves of football that I've seen from a Trojan offensive lineman maybe in my lifetime. Miller had no time. He had guys in his face constantly. That interception was a direct result of Mason Murphy getting smoked against a three-man rush. Deuce Robinson was one-on-one in the seam. We've hit that play 2 times previously this year, and Miller was going to hit it again. He had that hole wide open. Not wide open. It would have been a tough throw, but Miller makes that throw 9 out of 10 times. And because Mason gets absolutely torched, it ends up being a pick because Miller gets a guy right in his chest. This tackle situation is an absolute nightmare. And guys, I don't need to tell you, but we play Penn State next week. If you think we struggled against the Minnesota pass rush, what's going to happen against those guys? This is a bad, bad situation that we find ourselves in along the offensive line. Alani Noah is still completely lost at right guard. And late in the game, you saw it. Having those two on the right side both getting beat is just unacceptable. You can't have it. My confidence has been fading with Coach Henson for a while now. I was very high on him in the offseason. I defended him when a lot of you were calling for his job. And look, I have said it in the previous weeks, but guys, I was wrong about him and this offensive line. I completely was 100% wrong. Now, that doesn't mean I've lost my confidence in players like Elijah Page. I have not in any way. But after today's performance and what we've seen all year, I'd say I'm about 80-20 leaning towards Henson out. I don't like to call for people's jobs, and that's not what I'm doing here. But just an absolute unacceptable performance from the right side of that offensive line tonight. But yeah, this is just a brutal and unacceptable loss overall, man. So disappointed, very, very upset about what we just saw out there on the field. Don't know where we go from here. Emotions are running high. I'm very, very upset like I previously stated, but this does just feel like a season ender. I'll probably wake up tomorrow and feel a little bit better. But right now, man, this one is a kick in the nuts. And I talked about how the offense had its issues, but for me, this was the worst defensive performance of the year. We look soft at times, getting blasted off the ball. This is a Minnesota team that hasn't been able to run the ball on anybody, but they just kept slamming it down our throats, and we couldn't do anything about it. We had yet another chance to man up and get a goal line stop. And guys, I know that the sneak was a contentious call. And while I don't think they had enough to overturn it, that was a touchdown. It should have been called a touchdown in the first place. So I'm not mad about it. They got the ball in. They deserved that score. Just because the refs fucked it up doesn't take away from what they did on the field. And more so from what we didn't do. We didn't stop them. We had a chance. We knew what the play call was. And they were tougher than we were. And man, how many times did that happen tonight? I'll be honest, after that first half, I wasn't sweating. This has been a second half team. We make adjustments and we shut people down. That's not what happened tonight. They kept running it. They kept pounding it. We knew where the ball was going to go, and we still couldn't stop it. The missed tackle problem from last year popped up again. I thought it was a very disappointing night for the Arnold brothers. Akili didn't look very strong at all in this one. He got trucked in the first half. He missed a few tackles in the second half as well. And then Easton, man, you are a senior. You're pretty much a captain on this team. You just can't slam people and then run off the field celebrating it. Not in that moment. You can't do that. A guy as talented, a guy as smart, a guy as experienced as him, we cannot have that happening at that moment in the fourth quarter. Unacceptable play from him. Have to be better, have to be smarter. And there were so many good things tonight that now just don't matter. Nate Clifton played his ass off. Jalen Smith played his ass off. Greedy Vance had a great game. Gavin Meyer was making plays. And I do have to shout out Woody Marks. Phenomenal game from him. But again, it just doesn't fucking matter now. Lincoln Riley got outcoached by PJ Fleck. That can't happen. Coach Henson up to this point in the year has been an absolute failure. This is just a loss you couldn't have, straight up, full stop. You could not lose this game to this team. Not with what we have coming next week, not with the aspirations we have to make the college football playoff. Based on what I saw tonight, this is not a college football playoff team. I watched Minnesota's previous games. I did the research. I talked to people who knew about them. We should be better than them in every single phase on the field. But tonight we weren't. They were the better team. They were the aggressor. They were the closers. They were the finishers. I know you guys usually tune in for more analysis, but guys, I'll be honest, I'm just pissed off. This loss is fucking horrible, and I don't know where we go from here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this rant or video. I don't even know what to call it. I'll, of course, talk to you guys on Monday. I have to go rinse out my eyes with bleach. Just an unacceptable loss.